Hey you guys, this is Kristen coming at you live from Bethera, South Carolina, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about macros. This is a thing, if you are just starting keto, that you are absolutely going to be able to, you're going to have to master in order to be successful, and I have had numerous questions recently, and I've even had people asking me questions about how they can get their macros into their meals, and so I put together just some information. It won't take me very long to go through this, and I'll just share some of those things with you. So if you're joining me live, if you'll drop a 1 in the comments and let me know that you're here. Also, don't forget to let me know where you're coming from. If you're watching on the replay, so that means when you look up here and you don't see that red live, then that means you're watching on the replay. If you'll drop I miss you in the comments, and if you're new and you've never seen any of my videos before, if you will drop new, I like to give those people a full name shout out. So hey Anna, hey Jackie, hey Karina, hey Elizabeth, Julia, Riley, Patricia, Joanna, Amber, thank you guys. Hey Stacy, hey Jean, thank y'all for joining me. So like I said, we're going to talk about macros today. If you are a tracker, if you are someone who, I'll give y'all a little backstory. Y'all know that I am lazy keto, which means I do not necessarily track all the time. However, I will tell you when I first started, I was a tracker. And let me explain why when you start with keto, hey Norma, hey Michelle, hey Susan, why tracking in the beginning is so important. I highly recommend, regardless of whatever your lifestyle, whatever you choose as far as the keto diet goes, I always say start tracking in the beginning and at least do it until you learn enough about your eating habits and you start to feel like you understand fully what you're consuming and how it affects your body, because I do want to remind you that everybody's body is different, okay? We all respond differently. Men need more protein than women do. However, there are women out there that have noticed that they have to increase their protein even though keto is normally a high-fat, moderate protein diet. Hey Jay, hey Monique, hey Michelle. So it's really, really important. I'm going to go ahead and give you 3 apps that I am familiar with that I've used. One of them I've not used, but I've heard great things about it. I'm going to share those 3 apps with you and tell you about them. And I want you to download them on your phone. And then anything that you eat throughout the day, I suggest you put those things into your phone, into that app, so that it'll break it down and tell you exactly what you're eating and how much of that, so that you can see how your body is reacting to it. Now, I will tell you, because I am lazy keto, I quit doing that because I learned enough information about my particular body. Hey Sherry, hey Linda. Hey Deanna, thanks for joining me. I learned a lot about the way that my body responds, and so I was able to use that information, and I know that because I live a very busy lifestyle, which many of us do, which is partly why a lot of us go with the lazy or dirty keto lifestyle versus the strict one. But that's the reason why a lot of us go with it, because what happens is it becomes so overwhelming to continue tracking over and over and over again that you eventually just lead yourself to failure and then you quit. And so we definitely don't want for that to be a thing. We definitely want to make sure that we are doing something that is sustainable and that we can stick with for a while. So here's the first app. The first app is MyFitnessPal. The second one is, and if one of you guys can drop these in the comments so that people will see, MyFitnessPal is the first one. The second one is Carb Manager. And then the third one is Senza, S-E-N-Z-A. Now, I've used Carb Manager and I have used MyFitnessPal. Hey, Ella. Hey, Robin. Hey, Bridget. Those 2 I have used and I will recommend to you. Do not pay for them. They do have paid versions, but you can use the regular one. They're free. Don't pay. I mean, there's no point. You really aren't getting much more. So for what you need it for. Now, if you want to, go for it, but I say it's free. If it's free, it's for me. Senza, however, is another one that that people have recommended to me and said it was really good, so I'm going to throw that out there and let you guys know if that's one that you want to try. So once you get those apps downloaded, what's going to happen is you are going to begin tracking what you're eating. So you're going to go in and you're going to literally just enter every meal that you eat. And I think that even in a couple of them, they let you track your water intake if you want to. But that way, at the end of the day, it will show you how many of your carbs that you've consumed in that day, or how much fat you've had, or how much protein you've had. And then it'll set goals, because you'll end up putting information that's personal to you. So what your current weight is, what your maybe goal weight might be, your age, your gender. Like there's lots of different factors. Thank you, Elizabeth, for dropping that in the comments. There's a lot of different factors that come into play. Also your goal, you can put that in there. And so that will factor in some things and make a goal for you. So a daily goal that you would be able to reach for each of those. So whenever you first set it up, you go in there and you put those things in, then it's good to go. It calculates it all for you. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is you have to put in your meals, what you're eating, okay? So when you're eating breakfast, you'll finish breakfast, you'll go ahead and input it in, eat lunch, and then as the day goes on, it will track and it will tell you you have this many more carbs that you can consume during the day. So for me particularly, like I am a sweets person, so I would use fat bombs because I had a hard time getting my fats in. You may notice that might not be a problem for you. So you may need to back off on the amount of fat that you're consuming. It just depends. And so like I said, tracking in the beginning is always super helpful for you for that. So let me go ahead and remind you what macros are supposed to look like. And then I'm going to give you some examples of what those macros are, because I had someone the other day that said, can you please tell me how I can get in what I need to get during each of my meals? Thank you, Pat, for dropping the other two there for me. Hey Rose, thanks for joining me. So remember keto, if you're following any form of the keto diet, this is regardless of whether you're strict, lazy, dirty, whatever. This is across the board, okay? Your carbs are going to be, and when I say carbs, I'm not talking total, I'm talking net carbs. So that means when you read a nutrition label, you look at total carbs, and then you subtract two things, possibly, if they're there. Fiber, and you're going to subtract sugar alcohols. Allulose is a sugar alcohol that is often not included in the nutrition label, but it could be labeled somewhere else. So if something that's labeled keto, look at your nutrition facts, make sure that they kind of add up, or that you subtract and make sure you get to that net carb. But your net carbs are going to be total carbs minus fiber minus sugar alcohols, okay? So 5% of your daily intake, your diet throughout the day, whatever you're consuming, should be carbs, okay? Now let me give you some examples of what carbs are. So these are going to be your vegetables. So when you're following a ketogenic diet, hey Heavenly, hey Karen, thanks for joining me. When you're following a ketogenic diet, please stay away from potatoes. I don't care if they're sweet potatoes. I know sweet potatoes are better than regular potatoes, but they're still really high in carbs, so you want to stay away from those. You're going to stay away from potatoes, rice, I'm trying to think of some others, pasta, breads, anything that is like that, you're going to stay away from, okay? So it's interesting because people think, oh my gosh, you're going to get your carbs that you need from your vegetables, okay? So some acceptable vegetables, I've written down a list here. There's broccoli. Really, if you're thinking like, specifically, I know you guys have probably heard time and time again about green vegetables. Well, that's true. If it's a green vegetable, it's probably pretty safe for you. But this is broccoli, Brussels sprouts, any color peppers, zucchini, tomatoes, spinach, celery, lettuce, mushrooms, cabbage, eggplant, spaghetti squash. If you're a big pasta person, that's a really good replacement. Cauliflower, asparagus, cucumber, green beans, and kale. Those are some options for you. Yes, Linda, no starch. Whenever you are creating your plate, so for breakfast, I know it's hard because a lot of us are like, how do you get vegetables in on breakfast? Okay, well, you can. You can do peppers, you can do mushrooms, you can do tomatoes. If you want to include zucchini, anything that you would eat any other time of the day, you can totally eat for breakfast. You can throw it in there and have it for breakfast. So that's only 5%. Now, I know that sounds crazy, like, oh my gosh, then I can't eat anything. Honestly, if you're doing a green vegetable, you really can eat a significant amount of it, and you'll be eating very little carbs. So you're gonna feel. I promise you, if you're going to go up in the carbs a little bit, if they're vegetables, I think they're fine. But again, track them. You'll notice that whenever when you upload green beans or I remember whenever I first started, I would put in like collards, and it would be like, you could have like 2 cups of that, and it was like barely any carbs at all. So vegetables are going to be your carbs. That's a great idea. Tara says she does a mushroom and cheese omelet. See, perfect. You're getting some carbs in, and then you're also getting what I'm getting ready to share with you next. So that is carbs. You guys give me some thumbs up or put some bread in the comments if y'all understand what are healthy carbs. All right, so now we're going to go down to protein. So protein, this is a moderate protein diet. So a lot of people, yes, Claudia, tomatoes. A lot of people will think that they can like load up on protein. Butternut squash, it's a vegetable, but it is a little bit higher in carbs. So try it in moderation, Ella. And I can give you some information about that. In fact, I'll share a graphic in a little bit in my stories when I get off of here about acceptable high carb and low carb vegetables that will give you all estimates. I'll just put that in my stories so y'all can grab it later. So protein. People, whenever they start keto, they think it's nothing but meat. And this is where a lot of misconceptions come, because people are like, oh my gosh, this is going to clog your arteries. It's going to be really bad for your cholesterol. But if you're eating like you should be and you're making wise choices about the protein that you're putting in your body, then you're good. So moderate protein. And I will give you all a really quick tip. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but if you consume more protein than your body needs, it actually will convert to glucose. So I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but if you're eating too much protein, it will in fact turn into glucose, which is sugar, and that will raise your insulin levels, and it's a no-no for your body whenever you're on keto. So, 20% of our daily diet, when you're going to put all of your food into one of those apps, and you're going to track it, 20% of your meals and of your daily food intake should be protein, okay? Here are some examples. Bacon, chicken, eggs, ham, turkey, beef, duck, salami or any kind of lunch meats, pork, venison, fish, or any kind of seafoods, okay? Vicki, I'm glad that you liked it. Hey, Elizabeth. Hey, Alita, thanks for joining me. I'm so glad you're here. So those are all protein sources that you can eat. So when you're doing your plate, I almost imagine you've got like your vegetables here, you've got a little bit of protein here, and then the last thing that I'm getting ready to share with you, and that is your fats. Now, it's hard to believe, but fat is going to be 70% of your daily intake. And if you're like me, I struggled in the beginning, and tracking showed me this, because what would happen is a lot of people will start keto and they will immediately start dropping fat, and they'll watch that scale drop down. And I will tell you, keto is more about fat loss than it is about weight loss. So try to stay off the scale. But I will tell you, a lot of people will, when they first start keto, they'll notice the scale is dropping quickly because your body slips into ketosis, because it's such a rapid thing. Like you just completely are off carbs and switching over. So it's naturally burning your fat for fuel. Also, you're getting rid of a lot of the fluid that your body had in the beginning. But then what happens is you plateau a little bit, and because your body has now adjusted to this new lifestyle, and so it slows down. Well, if you're tracking your food and what you're eating every day, then you'll notice that maybe you're not consuming enough fat. And that was my struggle. Erica, what I would do is I would put it in the app. If you want to, I'm not going to tell you how much, because everybody, it's going to look different. If you'll download one of those apps, and you'll be able to see. And the first few days, you're going to like go over, or you're going to screw up, and that's fine, because what's going to happen is you're going to learn that, oh, okay, so that was too much, or that was too little, and then you'll adjust it the next day. So I promise you, tracking is always trial and error, and it's different for everybody. So I highly recommend you do that. So anyway, getting back to the fats. So fats are going to be 70% of your diet. And this is anything that you consume throughout the day. So here are some examples of healthy fats, because again, misconceptions with the keto diet is that you consume fat and it's really bad for you. We've been taught that entire lives. Oh, fat's bad for you. Yes, saturated fat is really bad for you. You have to eat healthy fat. So let me give you some examples. Coconut oil, or the meat of a coconut, avocados, nuts or seeds, so think like flaxseed, walnuts, things like that. Mayonnaise is a good healthy fat on keto. Olives, butter, olive oil, fish, MCT oil, beef, I said protein earlier. If you have a cut of meat that has fat on it, that's going to be good for you. Cream cheese and like heavy cream. So those are some. No, Courtney, this isn't a. Oh, never mind, Patricia. Sorry, y'all keep going. So anyway, those are going to be the healthy fats. And so what you'll notice is it's not like you're going to be eating like a whop of butter. I know that sounds crazy, but you think about it. When you cook with those things, they count, all right? So whatever you consume, whatever you use whenever you're cooking, you'll put that into the app as well, and you'll notice. And so for me, like I said, I struggle with getting healthy fats in. Therefore, my fat loss was stalled. And then I noticed I had too much protein, but not enough fat. So I had to adjust that. So I'll go through that with you just real quick one more time. Those 3 apps are Carb Manager, MyFitnessPal, or Senza. Download them immediately. Go ahead and get started with them. Try them out. Put all your stuff in that's related to you, and then begin using it. Start tracking it in the beginning. Now, once you've started to learn, okay, I can do this, then if you want to let off, you can. But I highly recommend, especially even for someone who's been doing keto for a while, and then all of a sudden they start to notice a plateau. I'll sometimes whip that app back out and start to track and see, okay, am I drinking enough water? Maybe it's the water. Or I slacked off and I'm not eating as much fat. I'm eating more protein, and so that's converting to glucose. It could be that. So 5% of your daily diet is carbs, 20% is protein, and 70% is fat. So anyway, I hope that this was helpful to you guys. Pat, I'm not sure. That's why I'm saying you're going to have to download that app and see what it could be that is stalling you. So anyway, I hope that you guys found this information useful. Again, check my stories. As soon as I finish sharing this video out and get off of here, I'll add that graphic that I was talking about with the vegetables, because people get real confused about vegetables and how many carbs there are. I'll add that to my story, so y'all will have that. If you would like to be a part of my keto group, it has like tons of resources, recipes, graphics, doctor videos that kind of give useful information, things like that. If you want to be a part of that group, if you'll drop group down in the comments, and I can connect with you and get you into that group. Make sure that we're friends, so send me a friend request if we're not already friends, and I will get you into that group over the next day or two. If you don't mind, please share this video. So share it to your personal pages. You can tag someone in the comments. Yeah, flax seeds work. If you can tag someone in the comments if you want to share it to your keto group or any other group that you feel like this would be of value. I appreciate you guys. Tammy and Ann, you guys are so welcome. And I really appreciate you guys joining me. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye, you guys.